We're live. Mike is home alone. Oh, what'd you do, Mike?
Nothing. I just realized that I left my child at home.
Oh.
Don't worry, he's not alone. The creepy neighbor is over there. Like, I don't know.
He's not home alone.
A little early in the season to be trimming hedges with a chainsaw?
Yeah, it's not quite spring yet.
I don't know. I was making a joke about the Blob remake, the movie within a movie, but I botched it. I'm very tired right now.
Yeah, no, I got it. Actually, I do have a neighbor who mows the grass after 10 o'clock usually. No joke. 3 times a week.
I have neighbors, all of them, that mow the grass at like 7 a.m. every day, and I hate them.
Wonderful.
They're all retired.
And then there's a lonely old lady who lives Catacorny who would look every time my grass is above like your ankles. She gives me this glare. By the way, this is the Horse Syndicate Lives. With me, as always, is Jared and Mike, and that's as far as we need to go, right?
Yep. That was a nice segue, Ray.
Thanks. I'm going to be here all week and probably next week, too. Mike, you can find him at realsplatter.com. Just look up Real Splatter, like a reel of film, right?
Yep. Or at screamteamreleasing.com where you can get White Doomsday. Just look up White Doomsday on Google and I'll come up all over the place.
Literally, he'll come up. So
nice.
And then, of course, Jared, where can we find you, Jared? You
guys can find me at zombie_survivor on Twitter.
And you can just find me on Nightfall. Fuck! The Horror Syndicate. I keep doing that all week long because I'm recreating the old site. I keep saying Nightfall for everything I'm doing. Because it was in my brain for like 5 years. That was what we were doing. So anyway, I just realized I forgot to make rankings for this evening. So we're going to take a break from that. Mike and I are going to talk about the new Pet Cemetery because we saw it. Jared's going to mute. He's going to earmuffs while we talk about that, or he doesn't care, which you shouldn't. Well, you can if you want. I'm over it. Mike, how about you?
Well, I saw it.
Yeah. Your review is kinder than mine, I think.
I was trying to be pretty middle of the road with it because everybody expects me to rip it apart, and I'm trying this new diplomatic Mike thing. It's kind of working out for me, where I don't really want to argue about movies with people. I just kind of, give them my opinion, and then
let it.
You want to know what I think about a movie? You want to fight with me about movies? Let's do it in person. I don't really want to do it on the internet. It's kind of
yeah.
But no, the movie. So first off, my first impression was everybody kept having this big argument that it wasn't a remake. It's not a remake. It's not a remake. It's a new adaptation of the book. It is not a remake. I was like, okay. I felt that was a little bit of a semantic argument, but I'm like, whatever. Let's see this movie. So I read the book again, so I haven't read it since I was a kid. Rewatched the original movie, and then the next day I went to go see the new one. It's a fucking remake. It is not a readaptation of the book. It follows the pacing and structure of the original movie, not book, identically until they make their giant change with Ellie being, spoiler alert, if you watch the trailer, you already know the spoil, that Ellie is the one who gets killed and not Gage. After that, it veers into its own direction, which I was not a fan of, not because it was different. I was totally open-minded about this movie. Because I watched the original movie, and honestly, I had some problems with it. It's been a long time. I still like it, but there's a lot of issues I have with that movie as an adaptation. It does not hold up great. It's still a good movie, but it's not great. So I was not super beholden to the original when I wanted to go see the remake. I just think that they gloss over so much shit in this new one. Like, the whole point of the book is about grief. It's about mourning someone that you lost, and the lengths that you would go to try to get them back and to try to get yourself out of that horrible place.
Right.
The new movie is not that. Like, Ellie dies, and then literally within 3 minutes, he's digging her up. It's like the funeral is part of a montage. I was like, what the fuck? That's the entire book. Is the whole point is they lost a child. The characters have no emotion whatsoever. There is no depth to anyone. Like, so the new Judd, John Lithgow, gives a great performance. He's a great actor. He really is one of the greats. I love him. He does a great performance, but he's got shit material to work with. They introduce Judd like they do in the book, where he pulls a bee stinger out of Ellie's leg, but actually it's Gage's leg in the book. But she finds the pet cemetery on her own, and she's trying to climb the deadfall, and then I guess she gets stung by a bee, which they forgot to show that part. She's just there, and then he pulls a stinger out of her, but there was never a bee sting part, so I was like, huh. But anyway, he's just an asshole. He's like, hey, get down from there. And he yells at her. Then he pulls the stinger out. Then the mom comes over. And she's like, look, my new best friend, the creepy old guy that followed me into the woods that we never introduced. Then it cuts, and they're like having dinner. And they're best friends with the family. And I'm like, what the fuck? But he's just an asshole all the time. He's never nice to them. Until
like the scene when she walks into his house without being invited in and finds the gun and the pictures, and he's like, what are you doing? He's a prick to her, actually. But then like his reason for bringing Church back was because he cares about her so much. It's like, how? You don't seem like you like her at all, honestly.
It's weird. It feels like a very truncated script, and that's how the original movie feels to me. Like they both versions need another 20 minutes to pad them out, so you can actually feel the characters and the emotion, because they're both very cold.
But the one good thing about the original movie versus this new movie is like they pull into the driveway, and within seconds, Judd is there to greet himself, and you know, like Ellie falls in the tire or whatever, and Judd's there, comes over and he greets him and introduces. He's their only neighbor, really.
Yeah.
You know, it takes them a while before, like the next day, I guess, and he introduces himself and is really strange to Ellie. And the whole bee sting thing, I thought she got hurt, like cut by a stick or something.
That's what I thought too. That's from the book. In the book, Gage gets stung by a bee and Judd pulls the stinger out. Like that's how they introduce him. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, Fred Gwynn is such a warm person that you immediately like him in the old movie. But John Lithgow, like I said, he plays him like an asshole, and that's why he's written. So there's no warmth there. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Just a very cold personality.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff like Lewis's Rachel's parents aren't even characters. They're there, but you don't know. They're just like, oh, there's some old people that their family's getting into the car with after the funeral. And they're just like going to Chicago or something. It's like, what? Who are they?
That scene.
Just doesn't go fight with the dad. Like none of that stuff. Like
all
this.
I was gonna say that scene at the funeral of Gage when they knocked the casket over is super fucking powerful, and there's not even anything like that.
No.
By the way, spoiler alert.
It's really the thing is, Gage is barely in the movie too. He's an afterthought. He's a prop until the very end, which is what, you know, that's the whole movie is a setup for the ending, which is really, it's just a sick joke. It's not even like narratively, it doesn't make any sense. Should we go into spoilers, like big time spoilers?
No, I just said spoiler alert. Let's fuck. Okay. Jared, do you care?
I was gonna say before you guys jump into spoilers, is there a Pascal in this one?
There is for about 8
fucking
seconds.
Wasted. God.
Yeah. Well, so here's another thing that annoyed me about this movie is they did so many little things that they changed just for the sake of changing them. And it's to the point where, like, so when the infamous scene where Judd gets his Achilles tendon cut, right? That, for instance, from the original movie. This is where my big argument that it's a remake, not a readaptation, comes in, because that does not happen in the book. The way Judd gets killed in the book is completely different than what they did in the original movie. Like, the whole ending of the original movie is totally different. So the Achilles tendon, Judd is following, he's trying to find Ellie because he sees the muddy footprint. Oh, also in this movie, everyone has 6 gallons of mud on their feet and they leave perfect footprints everywhere. The cat, Ellie, the family, it's fucking obnoxious, right? But anyway.
Take your shoes off, Ellie!
Yeah, right? So he follows the footsteps upstairs, and then, you know, you hear her under the bed. The camera keeps zooming in on his fucking ankles. So it's like, oh, here it comes. And right as she's about to slash his foot, he kicks the bed so it skitters across the floor, and we see that there's nothing underneath it. And then he walks down the stairs and gets his Achilles heel cut. And it's like, okay. They're just doing stuff. It's obvious that they're still adapting the movie, not the book, at that point. But they did all sorts of little shit like that. Like the movie expects you to already have seen the original movie to understand. Otherwise, you would just be like, why the hell do they keep zooming in on his fucking ankles? Like,
that's what I was thinking. Like, they're prompting your reaction.
the other thing about that, Mike, if I can jump in for a sec, is did they do that? They like ripped it out, the Achilles. They like put something in there and ripped it out, and then he falls down the steps, and Ellie just goes fucking ape shit on him. Like, was she stabbing him? I can't remember.
She does, but first she turns into Norma, the wife who was not in the original movie, but she's in the book. And that scene did happen in the book. In the book, Gage actually starts talking in like a demon's voice, and he starts saying like to Judd, you know, your wife knew that you fucked whores, and you know, he goes on this big like vulgar like Exorcist style rant, which I really did not like in the book. This one they kind of make it a little bit more like that with Ellie, but so the changes. I'm sorry, I'm so scatterbrained today. What I was getting at is with Pascal, they fucking put the wound on the other side of his head. They put it on the left instead of the right, and it's like, why? Of all the fucking things you're gonna change in this movie, why would you just switch the side of the head? Like, it's just so fucking dumb. It's like you're doing that just to fuck with it a little bit more. And like, I don't get the point of that. I just thought that was kind of obnoxious. Like, I don't know. I don't know why that. I'm being a crazy person right now, but that bothered me so much. They put the wound on the other side of his head.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't my problem, Pascal, really. But my biggest problem was how underutilized he was. I mean, they race swapped, which isn't that big of a deal, and the actor they chose was way creepier to me, just based on the look on his face. And
Yeah,
they really, huh?
He did I liked him as Pascal. He did a good job.
They skimped on the Pascal. That was one of the best. Like I said, I think I've said before, my brother was terrified of Pascal. That's the whole reason.
That was an underlying theme of the original
film.
Yeah,
and he was barely present in this movie. I think you see him once or twice more, and then after he dies, and then you hear his voice once, and that's about it, I think.
Well, to be fair, Ray, in the book, he's not in the book. He's barely in the book. It happens exactly.
Well, we've already determined that this is not a remake of.
But I mean, like, I don't mind those changes where they went back to the book, because Pascal, the scene happens where Lewis comes to the infirmary, and then he warns him. He's like, "Don't go to the pet cemetery or beyond." He takes him out into the woods, and he wakes up with the dirt on his feet. That's the last time Lewis sees Pascal, and then Ellie keeps saying Paxcal later in the book, but that's it. And but in the movie, they thought they did a really clever thing where they turned Pascal into the voice of a narrator almost, because he's vocalizing the rules and the things that we're learning as an omnipotent reader about the pet cemetery and shit. We're learning those things through him.
right.
Because in the book, you wouldn't know this stuff. So I thought that was interesting, but the scene when they bring Pascal in, they actually have a line from the book that I thought was really fucking stupid, and they shouldn't have done it. But this girl, the one nurse, goes, "I can see his brain," and it sounds so cartoonish and stupid. And there's just a lot of really weird choices they made in there. But yeah, a lot of little nods to the original movie that obviously they're expecting you to know. And I don't know, that really rubbed me the wrong way. The other big thing I really didn't like was that they took away the rules. Like when they're crossing the deadfall, one of my favorite part of the book and the old movie is he says, you know, don't look down, don't stop or you'll fall. Like it's this impassable obstacle, and it only allows you past it if you're meant to go past it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're going through the swamp in the book, like they're going through the land beyond the deadfall, and he says, "You may see things or hear things out here, but don't worry, it's just the northern lights or it's a loon." And he said, if something starts speaking to you, do not speak back.
Yeah,
and all these weird little rules. It's creepy as shit.
Yeah, don't listen.
And then they're halfway through like the swamp, and Lewis just hears someone start cackling. And then something's breathing, and it's like right behind him, and Judd's like, "Do not, like, never turn around," like all this little shit, and it's so eerie. And they did that a little bit in the original movie. You hear like the trees crashing because the Wendigo is like a 90-foot creature in the book that shows up, and that was really dumb too. But they implied it a little bit, and in the new one, they just walk across a pile of sticks, and then they're there. And like the Micmac burial ground, which they don't mention by name at all. They don't even say
Micmac at all.
it just looks like a fucking. It looks like a bunch of fake plants and some dirt. It looks like a theater set. It was really shitty.
It's probably a soundstage anyway. I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure it was. I'm sure.
Not even a well-dressed soundstage.
But yeah, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't have atmosphere. I love the foggy look of it. Everything was real creepy. But like they glossed over like everything. And then they got to the point where they get into like the major spoiler territory here, how they changed the story. After Ellie comes back, she's like, "I'm dead, aren't I?" And Lewis is like, "What?" And then it's like, I guess they're kind of going for like a Frankenstein riff. But then after Ellie kills Rachel, she drags Rachel's body to the pet cemetery and buries her. And then Lewis is like in a fight with Ellie, and
he's like her mother to the pet cemetery.
Yeah, that doll and everything.
What? And then Lewis gets killed by Rachel in the middle of the fight, and then they bury him. And then the end of the movie is the zombie family. They burn Judd's house down for some fucking reason. I have no idea why, because I guess they want to just draw more attention to themselves. And Gage is in the car, and Lewis threw Gage in the car right before he like tries to kill Ellie, and he's like, "Don't open the door," even though Gage is like a 2-year-old, so he wouldn't be able to anyway. But the last shot of the movie is Gage looking out the window of the car, and the zombie families, all three of them, are coming towards him, and Gage starts waving, and then you hear the key fob unlock the door. And I'm like, that's really fucked up, but it's also really hilarious. The whole audience was like cackling, and I'm like, you just completely undermined the tone of this movie.
I know.
And I was like, it's just
the key fob sound. Do you think it would have been more chilling without the key fob sound, possibly?
Well, it's not even that. It's just the implication is it's a fucked up joke. It's like, oh shit, they're gonna kill him and do the thing, but they ruin the rules. You have to bury your own. You can't just. It's not a body snatcher situation.
Right.
Like, you're not like self-replicating zombies. That's fucking stupid. And the whole point of the story is that these parents are grieving so badly that they lose their minds. And they're like, no, it's going to be different this time. Maybe something went wrong. I can bring them back. And that doesn't happen now. It's not like playing God anymore. Now it's just like, no, once the evil gets out, it wants to keep making more evil minions till they can like take over the world or something.
Then, yeah, there's the other thing I was going to mention. It feels like they really glossed over Zelda too.
Yeah, well, Zelda, they changed Zelda really annoyingly as well, where it's Rachel killed her by accident in a dumbwaiter, which is completely pointless. It doesn't add, none of the changes added anything to the damn story.
No. Basically, I sat there watching the movie thinking about how I could have probably slept up until the point that there was the change when Ellie got hit by the truck. And I didn't like the way they filmed that, where the truck jackknifes or whatever. And
I did not like that scene at all.
Yeah, that was stupid. I like that it was hit. It was more of an accident. When Gage runs out in the original movie, the truck plows right into him. I'd like that better. Did you notice that he was talking, or he was answering his phone? It was somebody named Sheena or whatever.
Because somebody ordered Domino's and it wasn't Alex.
Somebody ordered pizza.
Hold on, guys.
Is the cars here?
Drivers.
Somebody they better know better than ordering Domino's when Mike works at a pizza place already. But anyway, yeah, I didn't care for the movie all that much. I was glad I got the chance to see it in the theater because I never saw the original in the theater, and I honestly thought Mike would absolutely hate it when I saw it. I'm surprised that he had nicer things to say about it, but then again, he went back and saw the problems again and didn't like it as much. So I still love the original movie. I know he's got problems with Dale Midkiff, which I don't.
I haven't read the book since I was like 12 years old, so I mean, I have no.
Yeah, that's probably when I read the book. Was when I was about 12, 13 years old. It was after the movie had come out. Because I have this bad habit of reading books after I've seen the movie, like American Psycho. I read the book after seeing the movie. But then again, I wasn't aware of it until I saw the movie. So,
is there weird nuances to the original, kind of like there was with the new It movie that came out?
What? Say that again.
Was there little weird nuances in this movie, like there was when the new It came out a couple years ago?
What do you mean?
Like just weird things that only people would know if they had seen the original.
Probably. I don't think so. There's a lot of things they did poorly. Like I don't know how Mike felt, but I really don't think they did a good job with Judd. Like his storytelling ability in the original movie, like though I think a lot of the movie hinged on him, and he was a weak ass character in this new one. But I don't think there was any nuances to the original that you'd have to see, because they basically recreated the fucking beginning of the first movie. Just they took some things out, like the Missy, the maid or whatever she is. They got rid of her. I don't know. It like he said, it's a very cold movie, and I don't know. It's made $50 million. I just had to check that out. I don't know. I was not happy about it at the end. By the end of it, what happened?
They come back wrong.
So sorry for the interruption. Domino's, apparently my roommate from 2 years ago's girlfriend ordered Domino's for our house. The name was hers, and like so my old roommate got arrested for stealing cars.
Oh my god.
After we moved out, we found out all this like crazy shit, and like the cops came to the house like
Yesterday, right?
no, like a couple of days ago looking for him, and I'm like, he hasn't lived here in like 2 years. And now the Domino's guy comes, and it's like they're that name, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening?
Was
That's weird.
This is like a strangers thing going on. Like I thought they were going to say this for Tamara. I don't know.
Is Damien involved in any way?
But Lex Quinn is here. She wanted to give her thoughts on Pet Sematary.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Right. So we're talking about the new one, right?
Yes.
So the new Pet Sematary, I did read the book and I watched the original. The new one isn't terrible, but it's not great. There were parts about it that I liked, and then there was shit that didn't make any sense and that I didn't like. Like, for example, I liked that when Ellie came back, she wasn't a psychopath immediately, like Gage was in the original. She was just weird, and like as the bathing scene was really cool because it kind of felt like the book, because in the book, when Judd's dog comes back, he's just, slow and stupid. And he's like, whenever I gave him a bath, he's like, he hated taking baths, but he just sat there and didn't react. He's like, it was like washing a piece of meat. And then when I watched that tub scene and like he's like brushing her hair and like one of her eyes is weird, like her face is she's just not reacting to anything at all. I'm like, this feels like the book. It's like washing a piece of meat. Like she's not doing anything. I really like that.
That's another thing in the book that is interesting that I wish they would have done in the movie. The animals come back and they're just like really sluggish and weird. They're not violent at all. They're just like they describe them as kind of like retarded. And actually,
shambling rumbles of flesh.
Yeah, that's what they say about Gage. He's saying if he buries him, he's like, what if he comes back like that? And then he asked Rachel, he's like, what if Gage would have had a birth defect and would have been retarded? Would you still be able to love him? And they had this whole conversation about it because he's afraid that might be what happens. But instead, Gage comes back as like a demonically possessed little fucking monster. But it's really weird that they went in that direction in the book. And then in the movie, it makes more sense that they're like evil because it's more cinematic. But they had a little bit of that in the new movie with the bathing scene, I guess.
Yeah, there was that, and then even Church, like in the original, Church was just kind of straight up mean, but in the new one, he hissed a bunch of times, but he wasn't mean like all the time. Like Ellie could still hold him and brush him for a certain amount of time before he got pissed. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I like Church better than the original. I think he was a scarier looking cat. I know why they picked the Maine Coon, because it's the cover of the book. They picked a cat that looked like that, but I think the other cat was cooler.
Both cats are cool.
And watching the movie in the theater with Lex was great because every single time, even so much as the tail came on screen,
It's a kitty. It's a kitty cat.
Literally, she's saying that out loud. People are just like looking around the theater, like, "What the fuck is happening?" And our friend Wes was with us, and he turns to me, he's like, "Is she literally gonna do this every fucking time the cat's on screen?" I'm like, "Yes, she absolutely is."
I'm sorry. It's just so cute. All the behind the scenes pictures. And all the behind the scenes and like the premiere and stuff where he's wearing his little tie is so cute. It's just so cute.
I don't like cats. I'm a dog guy.
Yeah. I think I like the original better. That's all I got to say about it anymore.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the original. I think they're both very flawed movies, honestly. I don't think either of them is really a particularly great adaptation of the book. But the book is also 100 pages too long, and the book has a lot of fucking problems. Like, for instance, when Lewis goes to dig up Gage, which the whole book is culminating at this point, it's like, holy shit, this is going to fucking happen. He's going to put a person there. 27 pages of him trying to climb the fence. 27 fucking pages.
That sounds like Stephen King, all right.
Yeah, dude, it just completely annihilates the pace of the book. And then, but when he does dig him up, then he like Gage has got mold all over his face and shit. It's fucking disgusting. When he opens the casket, he just has this like freak out moment. He's like, "This is my son's corpse. What am I doing?" And it's like it was fucked up, but they didn't do that in the movie. I wish they would have.
Yep.
I was telling Ray when you left to go deal with your pizza debacle that I haven't read the book since I was like 12.
It's a good book. It's definitely is a good book. I think there's a lot of unnecessary shit in it, but it's Stephen King, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that with him.
But I mean, between the three of them, I don't think that any of them are actually like the perfect version of that story.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think of the movies, the original is definitely the better.
Yeah.
And I will say that the It remake is a better Stephen King movie than the Pet Sematary remake. Like, I honestly, Pet Sematary in 2019, this movie will be forgotten in 3 years. Like, no one will remember that it existed. It's such a lackluster. It's not poorly made. It's not like shitty. It's just it's unremarkable. I don't think people are gonna remember it. It's just a piece of fluff, and it will come and go, and eventually it'll be in the Walmart bargain bin for $5, and I'll be like, maybe I should revisit this. Was it worth it? I don't remember hating it. And then I'll come on here bitching about how I wasted $5 on that movie.
You see, with it became like a fucking cultural like phenomenon. Like everybody was obsessed with it. Like people remember it.
And then they made the new one, and it kind of sucked.
No, I mean, Michael. You know what I mean.
I want my Silver Bullet remake. I will direct the shit out of that movie.
You want a Silver Bullet remake?
Damn right. I need more kids in wheelchairs fighting, especially in today's inclusive society. I need more wheelchair-bound heroes.
Yep. And he'll have a cell phone and a handgun, and he'll be ready to go.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a good one, but I'm worried. I worry about remakes quite a bit whenever I hear, like, every once in a while, like, it isn't really a remake because, of course, it was a fucking TV series, whatever. TV, what do they call it?
Mini series.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Now that's on DVD, it's just a 3.5, 4 hour movie, whatever. But, like, I think it was pretty good, and we'll see what happens with the next one, and it made a lot of money, but, like, very rarely is a remake any good or better than the original. I mean, there's a few, like Dawn of the Dead, I love. I did like the Friday the 13th remake. There's not many that I like. Oh, the Hills Have Eyes remake was way better.
Yeah, that was hands down the better version of that movie.
The Fly, I don't. It is a remake where I almost don't consider it a remake because they're two different stories.
They're so wildly different. Yeah, it's based on
very.
an idea from the original.
The Thing is another one that's kind of a remake, but like, you know, you got so many other remakes that they've tried to make and tried to do different things with that turned out to be really poor. Even Japanese remakes are shit. Like, The Ring was probably the only exception for the most part, but some of the Japanese movies that they've remade have been pretty bad also. I don't know. So like Silver Bullet, I'm sure it's a flawed movie, you know, based on a short story, The Cycle of the Werewolf. It'd be great to see like a new movie adaptation of it, but do we really want to see that? Like, I love the original movie.
I just think it'd be hilarious to see what they would do now with it. Like,
I don't even get curious about it because of what they did to Pet Sematary. I don't know. That's just me. I'm not going to get turned into one of those weird people who hate remakes like Lauren Lepre and his buddy. But you know, if I would see it if they made it for sure.
I think it'd be interesting because I am a sucker for a good werewolf movie.
And there's, you know, that's another thing. Werewolves are not a thing, right? They're never really a thing. They were in like 1981. You know.
Well, here's the thing: if they did a remake of Silver Bullet, if I were to remake it, I would only cast a kid who is paralyzed for real. Because, you know, I want to make sure that I'm being as inclusive as possible and having paraplegic actors.
Yeah. Well, you can make that and remake Mac and Me after that.
Oh yeah.
I plan on it. Except when they go to McDonald's, they're going to get the healthy option to get apple wedges instead of French fries.
There we go. So you can go change I think you can alter your own IMDb page. So go do that and put Mac and Me pre-production on there 2021. I don't know.
Distended bellies and big ears.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pet Sematary. I give it 2 stars. You know, the funny thing is, we got 2 reviews for the Horror Syndicate, and they both loved it.
Really?
Yeah, it was Brian and my buddy Richard. Both really liked it. I didn't read either review until after, and Brian gives some reasons why he liked it. I didn't care for it. It wasn't for me. Like I said, I could have slept through the entire fucking first almost hour of the movie and not been lost because it was similar enough to the original movie, you know. But I do want to talk about my awkward moment with it while I was in the theater. So I got to go to a movie alone for the first time in a while, which I like to do. I don't mind doing. Like some people can't do that or eat alone, you know, in a restaurant. But I don't
eat alone. Going out to eat is a social event.
That's for sure. I agree with that. But I don't mind going to the movies alone. So I got there.
The movie alone. I don't mind it.
Well, in the summer of '95, I saw Batman Forever like 30 times because it was at the Dollar Show. But anyway, because we had a Dollar Show back then.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went to the movie. You know, you prepay your tickets and you get to pick where you sit. So I decided to sit against the wall, so, you know, just in case there are groups. So I got a seat by myself, and I get in there and I got my tub of popcorn because I love fucking popcorn, and my soda in my hand, and I walk all the way across like a group of like 10 girls in the same row, and I walk over and the girl looks right at me that's sitting next to me, and like she's like, "Are you sitting here?" I'm like, "Yep, unfortunately I got to sit next to you." And she's like, "That's okay, I feel bad you have to sit against the wall." I was like, "Well, I chose my seat, you know, so I'm okay with it." And she's like, "Okay, well, I hope you enjoy the movie." I was like, "All right." So I put my soda here next to her chair, and I'm sitting there watching the movie, and I put my hand just kind of resting on the soda lid, and I was getting weird vibes from this girl, and then she put her hand on my hand like this and slowly like rubbed her hand off my hand. I look, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
What?
And the thing is, the weird thing about it was she was pretty good looking, and you know, I probably could have like asked her out or whatever, but I'm a pussy. So like her soda, you know, there's the arm holders, there's the reclining chairs and all this stuff, you know, they're like this. So my hand was over here, her soda's over here, and she reached all the way over and like did that to my hand. I don't know if. Plus, she was laughing at all the fucked up shit in the movie, which I do. So that was cool. I should have done. It was just really weird, and I froze. And I wish I would have said something now. Because after we got out of the theater, I looked. I was like, God damn, she's not bad looking. So now I'm a creep. So that's kind of creepy, right? That she did it to me.
That is weird. I mean, did you consider though, Ray, and not to take away from what may have happened, but she may not have been like trying to flirt with you. She actually may have been deceased and buried in a burial ground of unknown and unexplained origin.
Right.
Somewhere, and she may have been looking to kill you and then bury you in the same undescribed Burial ground.
Come to think about it, I have been noticing somebody across the street staring up at my window at night every night. Now, just to consider it was you, Mike, because that's an every night thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more of a feminine figure than you have, even though you do have quite the feminine figure.
I was gonna say I've got that sexy what is it, an hourglass or a pear?
Yeah, definitely fair. I don't know, it was a weird moment that you do a weird moment like that, you just really don't know how to react. And I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, even if it was like in my experience, getting hit on by the opposite sex is always preferable to me trying to cold approach anybody. But even if someone did that to me and I like them, that's still a weird thing to do to a stranger. It's like, fucking touch me. Like, if you want to hit on me, like, giggle a lot at what I say, don't touch me. You gotta pay some coin before you get that.
That's true. Keith Saunders said, hopefully not an underworld CGI werewolf, referring to Silver Bullet. That's one of my biggest problems with the possibility of remake to that is a CG werewolf. I absolutely don't want that. Mike, in your movie, there's no CG werewolf, right?
No, but the crippled kid would be CGI.
From the waist down, he's CGI.
I would definitely CGI him. Actually, you know what it would be? Because, we can't even have like an alcoholic Gary Busey uncle. My version of the story, the kid's a science fair whiz, and he builds his own contraption. He builds his own Silver Bullet wheelchair, which actually also has like robotic arms and stuff, and it does things, and that's how he fights the werewolf. It's got like all sorts of like crazy like traps and stuff on it.
It turns into the mech suit from fucking Aliens.
It would be something more along those lines. It would have to be like hyper ridiculous.
Yeah,
nice.
And so at the end of the movie, whenever the werewolf comes,
we would have to start it off where like a bully comes up and they're like making fun of him, and then he like sprays like something out of it, like bear mace or something, and like gets the kid, and his friends are like, "Whoa, how the hell did you learn how to do that?" And he's like, "YouTube." Something like they'd have to make like a dumb joke. Like, I'm not even joking now. This is exactly what that fucking movie would be right now. Like,
somewhere Hollywood's watching this, like, this guy has a good idea.
Well, it's like when they did one of the remakes of Night of the Living Dead, not the '90s remake, but the one after that or whatever. I'm like, oh, watch, they're gonna fucking have someone text, "They're coming to get you, Barbara," and that's exactly what they did. I was like, oh god.
Living Dead 3D with Sid Haig.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Whatever it was awful.
Oh god, I think I own that movie.
I don't think I actually own that one.
Don't panic, Jared. Calmly approach the disc and snap it in half. It can't hurt you if it's broken in half.
That's true.
It comes with lenticular glasses, though.
Yeah, I remember. I think I did buy that, but I don't have it anymore. Yeah, I don't see it over there. I think I did buy it and got rid of it like immediately after I bought it.
Because it was one of those Ving Rhames ones, though. They did Day of the Dead.
I have that, actually. I don't have the newer one, but I have that one. It's not very good. He plays Rhodes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so let's talk about Society.
Oh, like Society as a whole?
No, I think he'd be a good fit for Society, Jared.
Society is the best movie. The Brian Yedlin movie is fantastic.
First we eat, then we copulate. That movie is out of control. So, okay, I watched Society back in the 90s at some point.
What year did it come out? 89, 90?
Yeah, well, I think it hit the U.S. shelves in 92. But I saw it at Blockbuster, and my uncle and I rented it. And I didn't get past the shunting when I was a kid.
Ooh.
So, like, I got to, like, when they bring the first guy in and they start doing all the weird shit to him, and then the hand goes up the ass, and it comes out his eyeballs. I was like, this is dumb. I'm done with that. But I got to revisit it this weekend when Joe Bob had it on.
Yeah, it came out in 89.
Yeah, I know it came out in 89, but it didn't hit the States till later. Because I think it also has an alternate release date of 92. But because I looked it up for the top 10 of 1989 posts that I did a couple months ago. But anyway, yeah, so Joe Bob brought it back, and first of all, the Joe Bob group that I'm in went fucking insane wild, and somebody challenged people to eat during the shunting, so I did.
Oh, I could totally do that. It's
Yeah,
so good.
and so I'm sitting there watching it, and I finally got through it first. I'm like, this is nothing. You should see some of this Italian shit I've seen in the last months. I've seen Hell of the Living Dead and lived through it, okay? So
I would have to say that that's Mad Screaming George's probably finest work.
that's what Joe Bob said, actually. He said it's his masterpiece. Like every effects artist has a masterpiece.
Well,
for sure.
is Screaming Mad George, he made a live action Salvador Dali painting.
Yes.
That's what I based it on. If you freeze frame the shunt, I'm like, holy shit. This is all of his paintings like merged together. Because I was a huge Dali fan as a kid. And then of course there's the Arrow Blu-ray, which has.
Now, this is exactly what I want to talk about this, Mike.
I got that one too.
I'm in debate on buying this. Now tell me all about it.
This is one of the finest Blu-ray sets I've ever owned. This you can't see it, but this is all textured and puffy.
Yep.
Which is fucking awesome. But it is the extras on this are phenomenal. For a lot of reasons. One of the coolest is this.
Comes with a nice big book.
Yeah, it's the comic book sequel.
Oh.
They did. They did a sequel comic book in the 90s based on the concept for the script for the sequel that was never made. But then the actual, this is art. That reminds me of the Blob remake when the sheriff's face is stretching across the telephone booth. But it's gorgeous. It comes with another booklet with essays in it. It comes with you guys may know this is the poster from Us.
Yeah.
But it comes like a little "you're invited" thing with that, and it's just a gorgeous fucking set. And the extras are so fucking good. Like,
now let me ask you this: do you love the smell of the hunt?
I am a champion of the shunt. So I have shunted on numerous occasions.
I'm sure. How's Lex Quinn feel about that?
Well,
Has Lex Quinn seen Society?
I feel like I made her watch it. Let me go ask her. Because I feel like I tried to get her to stretch, but
there's so many fun things you can say that are, related to that movie. Yeah, I'm worried though now that he showed me that. She hasn't seen. Well, that might be time.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't think I'll be able to get that version of that Blu-ray because
it's one of the special editions, kind of like
it was going for like $100-some.
Yeah, but the one that's available is $22.97 on Amazon, and it just looks like a regular. I'm wondering, it's 2 disc.
It's the same. It's the actual stuff, just minus the packaging in the comic book.
Yeah, so it's like the one you have.
It's still worth it. It's just this packaging is just so fucking amazing.
Well, it's got the same cover, so that's a plus, and it's got the reverse with the lady ripping her face off or whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I had picked up a copy of this movie. My FYE, where we did the big Doomsday signing, they still had a copy of the special edition for $40. So there was another collector whose name I cannot fucking remember at the moment, but. He was. I saw a post where he was trying to find it. Like, dude, they have it. So I picked it up, and he PayPal'd me. It's like I did with Bride of Reanimator.
Yeah.
That's why they had the Society one. He got it for $40 when it was like $120 on eBay.
Yeah, Jared, say something.
I got it too.
Yeah, if you run into that again, Mike, let me know. I doubt it, but. Maybe I'll run up to the vintage stocks before I go ahead and purchase it on Amazon.
Check it on like eBay and shit. It might have gone down in price.
I don't buy things.
We're talking about this movie, but for anybody out there that has never seen it before, like, what is the best synopsis of this type of movie?
Well, the movie is kind of like, the ending is really fucked up. But the lead up to the movie is kind of like a weird mystery almost, like first of all the main character
paranoia and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The main character keeps getting like weird sex toys left in his car, in his Jeep, and it's fucking super bizarre. Then this guy finds a tape and gives him this tape of his sister like having sex with all these people, and including the parents.
Yeah.
It's super bizarre, and you if you didn't know, like I knew what was coming, after not seeing it for 20 plus years, but like if you didn't know what was coming, it would be totally unexpected, know.
One of the best ways I can describe it without completely spoiling the movie is
We already
rich
spoiled
will
it.
always take over.
Yeah,
Rich people will always win over.
I think that's pretty much what the whole ideal is. But now here's the question: $190 on eBay so far.
Damn.
Yeah, there's one for 80. That's still too much. But here's the question: are they aliens? Is that what they are?
They are. Brian Yesna describes this in the commentary track.
Yeah, they're us. They've just evolved from.
Yeah, they were a different like the whole point of the movie is that the rich are literally a different species than us. They were just parallel evolution.
Yeah,
They always preyed on us. They were just always the higher order, like a higher on the evolutionary chain than us.
Mhm.
And the reason that they do the shunt is because they keep it in the family. They're an exclusive group, so their DNA needs fresh DNA to keep it the strains unpolluted. So they find the perfect specimen, and then they meld with him, and the DNA kind of dilutes throughout. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah, I like
it's so funny just even trying to explain this fucking movie.
It's really concept, but the origins of the story are really interesting. The screenwriter grew up in Hollywood, and his parents were part of like a fucking like weird cult or some shit, like some like Hollywood cult. So the guy wrote like a script about, like, he was so paranoid about his parents that he thought his parents were trying to kill him. So he wrote a script about like a blood cult in Hollywood, and then it kind of morphed into once Brian Yesna got involved in it, obviously it turned fucking like weird Cronenberg. But
yeah, he's a weird dude.
But I have it on good authority from someone that is a mutual acquaintance of all of us that they are working on trying to get a sequel or a remake done of Society.
I'm gonna have to say pass on a remake.
Was on board with it.
I would definitely take a sequel. I don't want a remake of that movie. I don't want them to. It'll be a CGI shunt. Do we want that?
No, we do not.
I mean, even with a sequel, we'd probably have they did any kind of shunting. Yeah, I'm looking at.
They would have to bring George back.
That's a.
I know he hasn't done much recently, but they would have to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
George.
Screaming Mad George.
Screaming Mad George, the special effects guy. I think I said Mad Screaming George earlier, and
he's in his 60s now, so who knows if.
He's on his Facebook. He does a lot of fine art installations, like just really fucking weird shit. He does a lot of music videos too.
So the sequel would be called Society 2: Body Modification, huh?
Mm-hmm. There was also Party Animal was one of the other. They talk about the pitch for the sequel, on the Blu-ray. It's really interesting about like a girl who's trying to climb like the social elite.
Mm-hmm.
Into the most exclusive clubs, and she's like working her way up through the like the nightclub food chain, and then finally she finds out like what the secret, the final stage is, like the shunt, and she does it because she wants to be part of that world so badly.
Yeah,
I'm looking at his director filmography. That was his first actual directorial.
Brian Yesna?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bride of Reanimator. But I didn't realize he did The Dentist. I didn't realize he did The Dentist. You ever see The Dentist?
Yeah. Corbin Burnson.
Stuart Gordon directed The Dentist. Brian Yesna directed The Dentist 2. Brace yourself.
Well, no, it says. Let me see it. Yeah, okay. It says written by Stuart Gordon for The Dentist.
Hold on, I have it right here.
Internet doesn't lie. But they worked together quite a bit.
You're right. Stuart Gordon did. Yeah, Brian Yesna did direct it. I forgot. I just watched The Dentist and The Dentist 2 like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm watching this documentary on Amazon called
Do they hold up?
50 Horror.
The first one does. It's fun. Second one, not so much.
So, well, I've been watching this documentary called 50 Horror Movies You've Never Seen or something like that. The 50 Best Horror Movies You Haven't Seen, and The Dentist is on there. First of all, so I've only watched up to number 16. I've seen 25 of them. So let me go over some of the ones that are on here if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
No, I want to know.
Basket Case is number 50.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so when a stranger calls.
Yep.
Stop me when you haven't seen one. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Slumber Party Massacre, Valentine, Grace.
Valentine?
Yeah,
Wait,
Valentine.
the movie, like the 90s slasher Valentine?
Yeah,
With David Boreanaz?
Boreanaz, yeah.
I don't remember much of it, but I don't remember being very good.
Yeah. What about Grace? Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Grace.
Yeah,
I've seen it. It's
about
a
like a zombie baby.
yeah. She's raising a zombie baby.
Wait, is that a new movie?
It's new.
09.
Yeah, okay. I know. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
The Hunger.
Yeah, David Bowie.
Yeah, Prophecy.
I haven't seen either of
The
those.
Dentist.
I don't know. I saw one of them. I don't know which. There's like 7 of them. I don't know which one.
Oh, the very first Prophecy. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, then there's The Dentist.
That's
Which,
not a horror movie.
The Food for the Gods.
Oh, the giant rat movie.
Yeah. Motel Hell.
What's that?
Motel Hell.
Hell. Never seen it.
Wrong Turn.
What was the last one?
Wrong Turn.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. The Fury.
Never seen it.
I don't think I
It's
saw
a
that.
Brian De Palma film that I have seen that I never thought about it even being a horror movie, but I guess it can be. It's got Amy Irvin in it, and who else was it? Somebody big. Michael Douglas's dad, Kirk Douglas, is in it. But I never thought of it as a horror movie. But anyway, April Fool's Day.
Yes.
Definitely belonging on the best of 50 movies you never saw.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
Humanoids from the Deep.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
Yeah, which is getting a steelbook release apparently from Scream Factory.
What?
Yeah, Hatchet. With about the kid lost in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever read that book? We read that book in grade school. A movie called Lamora. Have you ever heard of that?
The Lamora Child's Nightmare.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
It's about a
an Italian or Spanish vampire movie.
Yeah, never
I've
heard
seen
of
bits
it.
and pieces of it. I never watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
A
I
movie
haven't
called
seen it.
May, which I've seen.
May? Yeah,
One of my favorite movies of all
that's a
time.
good movie.
Yeah. The Brides of Dracula from Hammer.
Apparently, there's Angela Bettis did like almost like a pseudo remake of May with Lucky McKee as a guy.
Yeah, Lucky. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I never saw it. I didn't even know it fucking existed.
Is it still called May, or is it
No,
called? Or is it called Ray? Brides of Dracula from Hammer.
Never saw it.
The Exorcist 3.
Saw it. Yeah.
Burnt Offerings.
Yeah.
Eh.
The fun. Yeah. Some of these I was like, like the Fun House. I don't really like that movie.
I love the Fun House.
Yeah, you would.
It's like a sleazy movie. I love
I need to
the.
watch it again. I watched it once, and it was actually the first time I'd seen it. But Elizabeth was like really sick and close to dying, so I probably need to watch it again.
If you watch it, just like the scope of it, like it's got that Toby Hooper like sleaze to it.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully shot, and the score is fucking amazing. Like, it's a really impressively made movie.
I'll rewatch it. I got to watch it anyway because I got 500 movies to watch this year. The Fun House, the Halloween 3,
Yes.
Hard Candy.
Yes.
I hate that movie.
The movie's
I didn't
fucked
like
up,
it.
but it's a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Castle Freak.
Fuck yeah, man. That's what freaks the best.
Brian Yasna.
I just saw that with Joe Bob 2 weeks ago for the first time. I liked it.
Is
was
it
one of
worth
those
it?
I watched and I'm like, how did I miss this movie? You know?
It's fucked up too. It's a really
Pretty
fucked
good.
up.
Yeah.
You think it's worth owning?
Oh yeah, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna order it myself. The next one is Feast.
That's
I
a
hate
good one. You didn't what?
I know I hate the sequels. The first one's fun.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it in years, but the other two are the best movies I've ever seen.
I like the first one.
Clu Gulager as the bartender in that movie just cracks me the
Well, his
fuck
son
up.
made the movie. The next one is Slither.
I love Slither.
Love
I thought
that
it
one.
was more the more mainstream, but I guess not. Next one is Inside.
I don't like that movie.
Yeah, crap. Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah, that's good. The second one's better.
Splinter.
I've never seen
That one's an interesting one. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Is
I
that
haven't
new?
seen it. That's one of the few I haven't seen. Session 9.
That's a good one.
I saw part of that. There's a ghost movie in the asylum, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Ginger Snaps.
David Caruso in it.
Ginger Snaps is the next one.
Oh my god.
Alice, Sweet Alice, which I agree, that's a harder one to come by, but
I've actually never seen it. I know of it. I just never watched it.
I haven't seen it all the way through, but I've seen that was one my mom really liked, and I would catch her watching it every now and again.
That movie's kind of creepy, man.
Yeah. And then Visiting Hours is the last one. I still have to watch 15 through 1, but I'll get back to you guys on that. So far, I've seen a lot of them. This is on Prime. If you guys have Prime, get a chance to watch. Like 2 hours long, hosted by PJ Souls, and it's got people who work in the industry. It's from 2014, but there's a guy on there who worked on Fangoria. I took a picture of him, and he's one of the most annoying motherfuckers in the world. I just can't stand listening to him and looking at his face. His name is Pat Jankowitz.
Never heard of him.
I mean, if you can see here, there he is.
Oh,
yeah, that picture says it all.
Yeah, a very off-putting voice, and I just want to punch him in the face. It's like, how did you get a job at Fangoria?
well, it's on market quality these days, so.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Give it a check out. It's on Amazon Prime for free if you have Prime, I guess. But yeah, I'm enjoying like finding things like this because when we're done with all the ranking stuff, I'm going to do a similar thing based on how many votes we got on certain movies, because there are some movies that haven't even broken 50 votes. And most of them are getting between 100 and 150 votes, but there's some that haven't broken 50 or 75 that I'm very surprised about. And then somebody said that some of these movies are obscure, and I'm like, being the horror snob that I am, I'm like, these aren't obscure, But I guess I could see from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, you're just getting an idea of the fan knowledge of.
Yeah, and remember when I started the Horror Syndicate, when we started this, I wanted to get people to watch other things other than Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, Like Near Dark has 26 votes, for instance. Have you guys seen Near Dark?
I am not a fan.
Okay, but I'm just saying it only has 26 votes. The original
popular movie, though. That's that's like up there with the
That's what I would think, but it doesn't have very many votes on and so our viewership is.
It's a good movie, but it's overrated.
Yeah, the Haunting, the original The Haunting has 32 votes. Let's see. There was one that I was really surprised about, and I was really disappointed that it had such low. Rabid only has 54 votes.
Ew,
Until the Sasuke Sisters remake comes out, then everyone.
Part of it is availability. Okay, a lot of stuff people see.
Scream Factory, they put it out.
Yeah, but it's not streaming. Or is it, then that's how people watch stuff anymore if it's streaming. Horror of Dracula, which I love, is only got 46 votes. Martyrs has 48 votes.
Martyrs is amazing.
Not votes. Audition, the Japanese film, has got 63. The Invisible Man.
That's a little bit more obscure because Takashi Miike stuff.
Arrow just put out Audition.
Did they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but there's some on here. The Brood has 39 votes. I love that movie. Have you guys seen The Brood?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think The Brood's a very personal film for Cronenberg, but it's told very sterile. It's just it doesn't quite land for me, but I like what it's about and everything, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I love the ending. It's amazing.
Society has 75 votes.
That's good.
It's going to get viewed more now that it's on Shudder with Joe Bob. Tales from the Hood has 53 votes. That surprises me. I thought that was better known. Insidious has 76. I thought the Insidious movies were better known. The Barn only has 61 votes.
The Barn Justin's movie?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
It actually has 17 5-star reviews, 21 4-star, and 6, I would say 8 1-star reviews, but 2 of them are by 2 guys who are like fucking. Justin told me he actually banned them from all his social media pages.
Oh, yeah, I know those jackasses.
Yeah. Yep. Don't worry. Justin told me what he's got. Bay of Blood, the Mario Baba, 26.
Twitch of the Death Nerve.
Twitch of the Death Nerve. Torso, 53. That newer movie, Raw, 47. Now, this was the one that...
You hated that movie?
I did not like that movie at all.
A lot of people didn't
Really?
like it. I thought more people liked it. That's why I put it up. But no, it's not very well received. And this one really upsets me. Terror Vision, 38 people voted on Terror Vision. Yeah.
Okay, Terror Vision's really hard to find.
Scream Factory?
Well, that 2-pack is with the video dead, but that's the only way to get Terror Vision.
That's the only way to get it.
Oh, like that movie was hard as fuck to find for years.
Yeah, I know. Like when we started the Horror Syndicate, I didn't even know what the name of it was, and then I think Jared told me, right? And I'm like, okay, so I went out and bought it immediately. Now this one's heartbreaking, Mike. 67 votes, Chud 2.
What's the score on it?
Okay, so Chud 2. Let me go ahead and read off the last few getting up to Chud 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the bottom 6. Okay, Halloween Resurrection at 1.97. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 at 2.1. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Can you guess which one?
The Beginning.
Get it now? 3D.
No. Next Generation.
Oh, no.
2.22. I knew that was going to happen.
No.
Halloween 2 from 09, 2.26. Jason Goes to Hell at 2.42. That's the number 5 lowest ranked movie on our list. And at number 6 is Chud with a 2.5 rating.
The original?
Chud 2. Sorry, Chud 2.
Oh, I was going to say, oh my God, I'm going to start.
No, Chud, the first Chud's not that far off from the bottom. It's out of the 168 on here. Chud is number 1. Where'd it go? Chud is number 154 with a 3.04.
Out of how many?
168.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's sandwiched between the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and the Babadook.
The Babadook is a brilliant movie.
I agree. It's sitting at oh, I gotta fix this. It's actually above Chud. But yeah, the Chud is just barely better than A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Freddy's Dead, and Halloween 5, according to our followers.
So, Mike, I'm gonna stop this for a second.
Yes.
Babadook's a brilliant movie to you. What didn't you like about Raw?
Raw felt to me like it was basically just like fucking Animal House for an hour, and then she eats a finger. I was like, "What is this movie?"
I mean, it maybe not an hour, but like for literally the first 30, 40 minutes. Yeah.
I'm like, what is this like bullshit like hazing thing? It's like we're in veterinary school, so we're gonna cover you in deer blood and like make you eat like deer brains. I'm like, what the shit is this? And then I don't know. It didn't land for me. I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like everything was really stilted. It wasn't particularly frightening. It wasn't really disturbing. It just kind of existed. And then I'm like, I get that it's supposed to be like this girl's like awakening sexuality and whatnot. But like that's fine, I guess, but like there's nothing really going on, and the cannibalism stuff just didn't. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I was like, I don't understand what they're going for, and then I mean, it's been a while since I watched it. I think I wrote a full review for it on Facebook at some point, but
yeah, I didn't even finish it, honestly.
I don't even know. Honestly, I could not tell you what people like about it. Like I mean, it's not like it's a shittily made movie or anything. I just don't get what people get out of it. The thing is so great.
I think once the third act took place and you realized what was really going on, it kind of made the movie come full circle.
Yeah, I didn't even get that.
Well, she was like pretending to be hit by a car, so they could like eat people, right? That was the whole. And I'm trying to remember.
Well, don't spoil it for me.
You're not gonna watch it again.
I bought it for $2.
I bought it when it first came out because I heard so many great things about it, and then I fucking traded in the next day. I was so mad.
Her older sister is part of the hazing group.
Yeah.
So she was coaxing her along and kind of helping her out. She was a vegetarian, then got a taste of real meat. But then we realized in the third act that it's a lot more deeper than that.
Her parents were cannibals.
It's like the last 10 minutes was like it put it all together for me. And like I thought it was really, like you said, it was kind of slow, and it's like there wasn't really much going for it. But I mean, overall, it was like a interesting, like what I don't know how to describe it, but like a family.
It's a family affair.
There you go. Thank you.
I think they kind of lost me when the two girls were like trying to pee further than the other.
Ha! That was a funny scene.
I'm like, what is this? Like,
they were drunk. Have you never done that with a dude before?
I mean, I've peed on dudes when I was sober.
When you were sober.
But
that was kind of a weird scene.
But the Babadook was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I don't know why people hate it so much.
Way better than Raw.
I think the problem with the Babadook for people is, and this is not a dig against the horror community, except it's a dig against the horror community because most of them are 14-year-olds that don't understand about the dark side of life yet. So they like to laugh at things in movies that are disturbing because they don't understand them yet. And the Babadook was all about grief, and most of the people that watch that movie have never had to experience that before.
Yeah.
So they did not relate to any of it, and that's a shame. Well, it's not. I mean, it's a good thing they can't relate to it. But I think the Babadook is a very mature movie, and I think it's for older audiences. And most of the people I knew that watched it, it was not for them. It's not a movie that they could wrap their head around.
I don't even think the depth of the movie is the problem, because I agree exactly with what you're saying about how deep the movie is, especially dealing with grief. But I think even on the surface, just some of the surface things about the Babadook, it kind of can be terrifying. You know, I love the idea of the book itself, you know. And then some of the scenes, it's like when she's in bed masturbating or whatever, and so you can see the I think the movie can be terrifying on its own without you know what I'm saying?
The only thing
Eurovision is apparently streaming on Amazon Prime.
Well, the only thing I don't like about it is the kid building like the weird little like Home Alone trap things at the end. I thought that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But everyone's gripe with the movie is like, oh, this fucking kid is so annoying. I hate him. I want him to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the movie is trying to do. The movie is trying to put you into the position of this single mother who's about to have a nervous breakdown. Like, you need to, when you watch a movie, the filmmakers want you to sympathize with the characters, and they want you to, you know, seeing a kid get killed is a horrible thing. You don't want to, you don't want kids to die, but especially if you're a mother. So what the movie is doing is they're trying to twist your perception into hating that child. And then, you know, to have a story about a mom that wants to kill her own kid.
Yeah.
That's a really fucking big leap to have to make the audience make, but they're also, this child is the product of emotional neglect.
Yes.
And that's what kids do. They act up, and that's the whole point is the kid
because she's emotionally unavailable.
Exactly. And that's the whole point is that this kid is fucked up in the head, and the movie wants you to be as exasperated as the mom. And that's really twisted where, you know, when you're thinking, man, I want her to kill this kid, if you stop and think about that for a second, it's like, I'm rooting for a 9-year-old to get killed. And that's exactly the position the mom is in. She's like, oh my God, I want to hurt my kid because I can't handle this shit anymore. And like, I think that was really clever, you know, and that's a really risky move for a movie to make a character like deliberately unlikable. But
well, maybe that's one of the problems also is the, I mean, sure, you know, people make fun of the kid and the kid's annoying and all that stuff, but maybe that's also a problem is the just exactly what you said about getting into the mindset of wanting to watch that kid die. or see the mom kill that kid. Maybe that was something that people didn't like. You know, like
I don't think people sat and gave it the time to like sit and think about it, because everyone was told the Babadook's the scariest movie ever made. You know, it's the same fucking bullshit.
God, I wish they would stop doing that.
That they
And
say
people
for
are watching
everyone.
it, and they're like, it wasn't so fucking scary, but it's like it's not supposed to be. It's a dark movie. Psychologically, it's very frightening.
Yeah.
And then the ending, everyone's like, well, I don't understand the ending. They're like, is the Babadook real? Is it not? And I think the ending is what's so brilliant about the movie, is because at the end, she defeats the thing, and, you know, she's feeding it worms at the end, and the little boy is like, you know, how is it today? And she says, you know, he's quiet. And then he says, will I see him one day? And she's like, yeah, you will. And the implication is the Babadook is grief. The Babadook is depression. And
it's the grief over the father dying.
It's the grief. It never goes away. You just learn how to deal with it. You learn how to tend to it every day. It doesn't disappear. They say time heals all wounds, but it doesn't. Yeah, you feed it. You deal with it. And the little boy, one day, all of this psychological abuse that he went through, it will impact him one day.
Oh yeah.
Just like the people that hated that movie will one day watch it and understand it on some level, I feel.
I hope so.
Well, until then, it's number 155 on our countdown.
God damn it.
Yeah, I was terribly disappointed to see that, and the way people talked about it on our. Actually, I'm gonna pull up some of the comments because.
Yeah, well, while you're doing that, I actually got to see that movie in the theater with a couple of buddies.
Wow.
Well, I saw it on Facebook. I mean, on Netflix, and me and Elizabeth made fun of it because of the title.
Yeah,
the title was very silly.
Didn't really know what to think, but
yeah. So then we sat down and watched it, and we were blown the fuck away by it. You know, and we were telling everybody that we knew to watch it. We have one comment, and it's a laughy face for the Babadook. So. Whatever, people.
How did Doomsday do on this list, Ray? Number 3?
You want me to put it up? I haven't put it up.
No, I don't care.
It'll be 5 stars across the board.
I was just surprised that the barn was on there. I
put the barn on there because it's not a hugely well-known movie, of course, but I think a lot of our audience, because of what we've done, may have gone out and seen it with the giveaway.
It's definitely of the indie movies. It's definitely one of the more popular ones. I just didn't know we were doing indie at all.
It's also, the barn's also streaming on Tubi TV or whatever it is.
Tubi, yeah.
Yeah, so you have access to it where only people who've bought Doomsday or seen it at one of the convention or film festivals have seen Doomsday. So I would expect us to get maybe a handful of votes for Doomsday.
No, I'm not suggesting you actually put it on. I was only kidding.
But now I'm doing it, and I'm going to give it a 1 star. So
hey, go right ahead. You can be like the people at all of our local screenings that did that.
Yeah, I'll be like, I don't understand this movie, and it's just like the Babadook.
Yeah. I wish it was like the Babadook.
Those cookies look delicious. Oh man, sorry, I shouldn't have said that, right? Although I kind of did the same thing in the promo video that we did for it. Oh man, those cookies look delicious. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up for the night. It was a pretty good show, I think. Got to talk about Pet Sematary. We learned that Jared would be a good fit for society, and talked a little bit about some countdown stuff. But if you didn't hear me before, TerraVision is available on Amazon Prime streaming right now. So, Razor says, check it out.
Yes.
I love that movie. It's ridiculous. It's fun. It's not to be taken seriously. It's a fucking horror comedy. It's ridiculous. So
the guy that directed it did all the Subspecies movies too.
Is that right?
Yeah, Ted Nikolai. Yeah.
Oh, he did a great job on this movie. I love the one scene that always got me when I was a kid that was stuck in my head forever was all the adults in bed together.
Just taking care of business. Yeah, it's so weird.
So my whole story with that, I've told all the other guys about this, but so I saw the movie and I had 102 fever while I was watching it. I was like 10 years old. So yeah, so that night I'm in bed and I had this GI Joe sleeping bag that I slept with every night, and the sleeping bag was camouflaged. But I guess I got hot in the night and pushed it off me, and I woke up and I swore that fucking monster from TerraVision was in my bed with me. Freaked me the fuck out. So I didn't watch it again until I was like 36 when I finally bought it. So that's my story. Yeah, Joe originally popped in. Just want to let us know that there is another Poltergeist reboot coming. I heard about that today too, and it's the Russo brothers who will be making, who did the last couple of Avengers movies and Captain America: Civil War. So it may be good. I'll be honest with you. I saw the other one and I don't hate it.
I didn't see it.
It's not for everybody. I
saw it when I was in Texas. And
I gave it a fair shot.
I think I fell asleep.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's different enough from the original movie to where I won't hate it because it's not like the original movie, if that makes sense. So anyway, Jared, let us know where you're from, where we can find you. I know where you're from.
You can find me on the Yellow Brick Road in Kansas.
In the Yellow Dick Road, is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right.
Wrong country.
That sounds wonderful.
And
hey,
Tornado.
you want to go to Texas Frightmare with me next year?
What's that?
You want to go to Texas Frightmare with me next year?
If I can afford it, I'd love to.
All right, so never mind. Mike, where can we find you?
You can find me at facebook.com/RealSplatter, Mike Lombardo on Facebook, YouTube, Real Splatter, RealSplatter.com, and most importantly, ScreamTeamReleasing.com, where you can buy your copy of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday on Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS.
All right. Just breathe. And you can, of course, find me on the Horror Syndicate.
Right.
But also, Nightfall Unlimited is a new thing coming back. It has nothing to do with horror. Horror stays with the Horror Syndicate. So if you would go find the Nightfall Unlimited Owl and like that page, follow it on the Twitter. And that's about it. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. It was a good time. I guess I was the only one who had a good time. Have a good evening.